Hello everyone, welcome to my channel. How is everyone's day today? If you have any questions, don't hesitate to share them in the comments below. I am always ready to share with you. As usual, there will be news about the main villains Harry and Meghan. Today I am also talking about these two people, but can I change it into a storytelling style? Don't forget to give me a like and subscribe to the channel. Thank you very much. Let's get started! One day Harry brought home his fiancée to meet the family. After a few days, his big brother had a heart-to-heart with him and cautioned him about perhaps waiting to know this woman a bit longer, etc. Harry became petulant as he's done since a child whenever he was made to wait for anything. Matters became worse as the fiancée showed herself to be little better than an uneducated, unappreciative, ill-mannered, untruthful, sneak with ugly feet and 10 sticky fingers. Even Prince Philip, old, wise, and extremely intuitive, cautioned Harry that one steps out with actresses. One doesn't marry them, when Prince William once again attempted to speak with their father present. Harry threw a hissy fit, and matters went straight down the drain. The newlyweds decided that they would go to Canada, then America, and settle down in California, where the new Duchess figured she'd be starring in an Emmy-winning production in no time. Unfortunately, nobody seemed to appreciate her acting skills, or her skills of any kind. In fact, 5 years later, she is still trying to find them herself. She's even putting up strawberry jam if one can imagine her in an apron. Although the brothers have had a talk or two over the years, much trauma has struck the royal family, Her Majesty. The Queen passed just about 6 months after her rock and her stay. Prince Philip died, after the two of them had been married 70 years. She quietly and privately grieved, settled her crown on her head, and called just Harry into a meeting. She gave him some options, but he got a few ultimatums also. What he didn't get was what he wanted. That was they wished to be part-time royals with full-time paychecks, allowed to do few things for the crown whilst the Prince of Wales and family worked double time. They scurried back to the States and the house they didn't own after all. Their father became very ill with cancer, followed by the news that the beautiful POW, Catherine, was also discovered to have cancer, while the news came out that the King's Queen consort also had developed breast cancer. Since the two persona non grata had run back to the States, nobody could blame them for giving or wishing the illness upon the folks who had caused them all their genetic pain and sorrow. So, even after they're lying on a show all about them to the other big-mouthed liar, Orca, refusing to return very expensive clothing and jewelry to various important persons, their popularity seemed to wane. Oh! Plus I almost forgot the little boy they had and the little girl who, even against Her Majesty the Queen's express request, named her the Queen's childhood nickname, Lilibet. It was especially hurtful as she had just lost her husband of 70 years, who used the name the most often, and her sister who had been deceased for several years. So, each time it was mentioned it brought pain. But apparently nobody really cared. Especially strange was when the real parents of the children, who owned a legal business, rent a kid who just Howie and wife, actually rented when needed, which wasn't much, and the most hurtful act to me. At least was that right before she died, they sent a picture of the great-grandson, she was told. Unfortunately, he had his back turned to the camera. So even though it wasn't really her great-grandson's head she was looking at, she didn't know that. And wasn't that hilarious? I never thought so. And so many other people didn't either. I believe that this was one of the final straws between King Charles III, the Prince of Wales, and Princess Royal, Anne. Personally, I'd lay my wages on Anne in any type of situation involving the lying, thieving Sussexes who even now are demanding a free home, lots of money, and very little to do for the crown. So, here's the story as I've followed it. I obviously can add dialogue as I was never there. But when several sources are all telling the same tale, one has to feel that a great deal of this story is all true. This damnable woman isn't even allowed to be alone in any room of the palaces. There is always a servant walking or having her followed through the palaces on the order of the Queen, as she is a known thief. She took photos of private rooms, and the one that about got her hair jerked out of her head was when she sneaked into Princess Charlotte's bedroom while she was asleep, and Meghan was taking pictures of her in her bedroom. Had I been that childless mother, Meghan wouldn't have seen any other room in the palace other than one of the old, closed-up, damp dungeons with a basket of mice for company. It was the final straw for the Prince of Wales, the Queen and Dad. Enough was enough. The children are not fond of her. It's obvious she's not fond of children, period. I hope a family court judge orders family court to keep an eye on her. Something may not be criminal, but something is definitely very strange with this woman. She is most definitely a strange, lying, hateful woman who could use, along with her husband, some good, strong medicinal help. I don't think they'll ever be willing to become a whole family again if they ever really were, and that's sad. I hope for the truly loving ones who went on ahead that their memories mean more to these two than their petty wants and the idea that they deserve the same money for doing nothing. I know that they had a good relationship prior to Meghan. There were reports that Harry felt William and Meghan didn't welcome Meghan as much as they could have. Meghan reports that she's a hugger and William and Catherine are not. Harry and Catherine were good friends. He said she was the sister he never had. Meghan never took the time to understand the British and the country she had married into. She thought everything should be just like home. Well, it isn't, and the British are not like Americans. We are reserved people and we don't generally go in for over-emoting. We are happy to hug our family and friends. We just need time to get to know you. Certainly. Meghan was in Harry's ear from the beginning, saying things like, "This whole monarchy culture is so weird. Yes, your grandmother is the queen, but she's still a grandmother. Yes, your brother is going to be the king, but why should he be more important than you? Americans would never stand for this type of hierarchy in a family, and I can believe we have to deal with this. Can you believe Catherine and William wouldn't give me a hug? I am awesome. Who do they think they are? This British culture is so uptight and classist. How on earth have you tolerated this your whole life?" Meghan was so offended by not getting a hug that she brought it up years later in a tell-all. She is so disgusted at having to curtsy to Harry's grandmother that she did that passive-aggressive, over-the-top curtsy, and there was no way in hell she was ever going to curtsy to Catherine. And if you think I am way off base, go back and watch all the interviews they've ever done. Also, in the docu-series, Harry says, "I can see how an American would think that curtsying is weird." No, Harry, that is what Meghan told you. So, like the simpleton you are, you make all of her issues your own. That is why he no longer likes Catherine or any other member of his family. Well, that's all for today's video. Thank you very much for watching our video, and I want to know what you think about these issues. Please express your opinion in the comments below. Hope you will always be cheerful and happy. Don't forget to support us by liking, sharing, and subscribing to the channel. Goodbye, and see you again in the next videos.